The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 520 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
There's so much Spielbergism in this film.
I believe Alfred Hitchcock survived to see Jaws.
I'm sorry, Jaws is dunna dunna dun dun
No,
dun.
that's Baby Shark. How did we never know this before now? Mike!
I do like it that it depicts the shark seconds before it blows up.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland.
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets love.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers and Jaws walkers! Mike Celestino joins us for this power-packed Jaws 50th anniversary episode where we share our stories and memories of first seeing the film and lots of music, merchandise, and behind-the-scenes fun facts to come. But right now, we want to welcome you back to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who's looking very cute.
Oh,
Looking very, very adorable.
thank you.
Yes.
Oh, that's me. Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, and pop culture fandom. That's where Jaws fits in. So imagine a big Wookiee hug from us and a little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. All right, Richard, every week we go live on YouTube and we always like to track our YouTube subscribers. So what are we up to this week?
Now, look at this. We are at a staggering...
Oh!
We are a staggering 10,591.
Whoa! Oh, we're almost at 10,600. Almost there.
Yeah, I'm going to say by next episode, we will be at 10,600. And I say that because we're going to take off next week for some other side projects. So we'll be back in 2 weeks where we're bound to get 9 more subscribers.
Let's hope. Cross our fingers.
Oh, I know. You'll do it, and you'll do it, and you'll do it, and you'll do it, and you'll do it.
Everyone grab someone's phone.
Yeah, and in fact, talking about release of episodes, we're going to wait until Friday to put out this particular episode because Friday's date is June the 20th, the exact 50th anniversary of Jaws. So we couldn't put it out on Thursday, our normal day.
No. Wow, we planned this real well.
Yes, we did. Yes, wow. Years and years in the making.
That's right.
We plan that we're going to release this on the exact 50th anniversary.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think they bought it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think they did. Okay.
All right, now we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world. And best of all, their service is free. Sarah, how much is this?
Free, $0.
Free of charge, so head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
That's right.
And then you go, nom, 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 nom.
Why?
For Jaws. Nom, nom, nom,
Oh,
nom, nom, nom.
is that Jaws?
I'm in a Jaws mood right now.
I'm sorry. Jaws is dunna, dunna, dun, dun,
No,
dun,
that's
dun,
Baby
dun,
Shark.
dun, dun, dun.
Jaws is nom, 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 nom. This is a deleted scene.
Jaws came first, and actually, Dvorak's New World Symphony came before Jaws.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it kind of begins with the Jaws theme. Dunna, 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 dunna. it begins with that 2-note and then it beyond that. But yeah.
And then it goes num 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 num.
No num nums.
Yes, num nums.
No num nums.
Jaws likes num nums.
Well, I can't argue that.
Especially when it comes in the form of Chrissy or Alex Kinter or that Gardner guy or Quint.
We are getting very punchy. It's late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on June 17th, 2025. So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Before I go there, James Gildersleeve says in the Sky Chat, Jaws must be related to Cookie Monster. Num, 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 num,
See?
num, num.
That's not the Jaws sound.
You know what? When you think of Jaws, you think of Cookie Monster.
Jack wants num-nums, okay? I want num-nums.
Oh, now I do.
Oh.
All right, so what happened on this date in Star Wars history?
Yes, that's what I asked you.
It was 39 years ago today, on June the 17th, 1986, that the final issue of Marvel Star Wars Comics comes to an end with issue 107 altogether now.
How sad! In 86.
1986,
Okay.
moment of silence. All right, now, if you haven't read this issue, what we see here is that to end a galactic invasion, the rebels, along with new allies, plan to capture Prince Serrano with hopes that his people, the Toph, will surrender. After a battle in the palace where a traitor has helped the rebels defeat the prince and Dark Lady Lumaya to stop the invasion, Luke expresses hope in the future. All right, so fun story.
Oh, okay.
In school, in a group of my friends, I was the good kid who never got in trouble.
What?
Could you believe this?
No.
I never got in trouble. I never misbehaved. I was the perfect student. But I had bought this issue number 107 of Star Wars, the morning before I went to school.
Oh.
And I was so chomping at the bit. I wanted to read this comic. This was the last Star Wars comic. What is going on? I need to get out of this class to read this. So I just raised some ruckus. The teacher said, "Rich, get out of the class. Get out." And I ran to the door, just found a place in a hallway somewhere, and just read my comic book.
So, how old were you? What grade?
I was too old to be acting like that. But yet, still, this was the last issue, and I had to know what happened. It's like you can't go the whole day knowing that you got the final piece of this big, large story that has gone on for 9 years and not be able to read it. Yeah. Am I going to pay attention in a French class? No. No, I'm not.
Wow.
Exactly.
So French class, so high school.
Yes.
Wow.
You narrowed it down.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
All right, now let's head to Amity with Mike Celestino. And right after our Jaws discussion, we're going to share your Jaws comments and stories left in our social media posts. Stay with us.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Jaws. See it before you go swimming.
After 50 years, Jaws is still considered one of the best films of all time. This month, Jaws will cross the 50-year benchmark of redefining the summer blockbuster. We are excited to celebrate this anniversary by sharing personal stories and fun facts of the film's legacy.
Now, it would be a crime, not on the same level as making one of its sequels 3D or giving the shark a personal vendetta, not on a crime on that level, but it would be a crime by not inviting one of the biggest Jaws fans we know. From laughingplace.com and Who's the Boss podcast, it is Mike Celestino.
Hey, Mike! Oh, you are muted.
I'm so sorry I had muted myself. Hey, Richard and Sarah. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. This will be my third time recording a full podcast episode dedicated to the movie Jaws. But like you said, I'm a huge fan. It's my favorite movie ever made, so I'm always excited to talk about it.
Well, how big of a fan are you? Let's start there.
I count this as my number one movie of all time. I grew up on it. I've seen it many, many times. Never get tired of it. Just watched it again last night in preparation for this discussion, and it still captured my 100% attention, and you couldn't pull me away. I was just glued to the screen.
So we just watched Jaws again this morning. And I thought, we'll watch it just to refresh. But as we're watching it, it's like, I never noticed that. I never noticed that. And I never noticed. There's so many things that I never noticed. It's one of those films, no matter how many times you watch it, you're going to pick up on something entirely different.
Yeah, so has Jaws ever kept you from going into the beach or the water?
I thought about that question, and I don't think that it has, because I grew up on the ocean. I lived on Long Island, New York. I was an islander of a different type. I wasn't on Amity, although I was born in Amityville, Long Island, which I always thought maybe was connected in some way, but it's
Wait,
not
stop right there.
Yes.
You were born in Amityville, New York?
Yes, that's correct. Home of the Amityville Horror, yes.
How did we never know this before now? Mike, what? You've been sitting on this.
We used to drive by the old Amityville Horror House all the time. I think my mom went in there when she was growing up. But yes, very famously, home of the Amityville Horror is where I was born.
Richard's jaw is on the floor.
What else are you hiding? Was that you responsible for those murders, Mike? Mike, were you seeing red pig eyes in the wall?
I believe that happened before I was born, but I could be wrong.
Okay, we'll move on from there.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to talk about Jaws, but before we do, we're going to give a little film summary for those of you who may not have seen Jaws or just need a refresher. We like to do that. So here we go. When a young woman is killed by a shark while skinny dipping near the New England tourist town Amity Island, Police Chief Martin Brody, played by Roy Scheider, wants to close the beaches. But the mayor and the town board overrule him, fearing the loss of tourist revenue will cripple the town. But when another young boy is killed because the beaches were not closed, Brody teams up with ichthyologist Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, and grizzled ship captain Quint, played by Robert Shaw, to capture the killer shark. It is an epic battle of man on boat versus nature. They're gonna need a bigger boat.
For a ship named Orca. Oh, there you go.
Mike is showing a Lego version of the Orca. Okay, we got to see some close-ups of these Lego figures.
Oh, sure.
And where are those air compression tanks?
And the shark.
They are depicted in the set. There's Quint.
Oh my goodness, he's so cute. If you guys, this is on YouTube, so watch the YouTube video to see that. Who's that?
That's
Hooper.
Hooper.
Oh,
okay.
in the wetsuit.
Okay.
No, he's in his Canadian tuxedo denim. It's the wrong scene on the. It's not the outfit he's wearing on the boat. It's the outfit he wears when he first gets into town.
Right. Okay.
But I'll accept it. I'm okay with that. And then there's Martin Brody.
Oh, with a gun, appropriately.
And then yes, on the boat. I don't know if you can see it. Right here are the tanks. There you go. Yeah. And we've got the little folded up shark cage here as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how cute is that?
Yeah. I wanted them to make this Lego set for decades, and they finally did it last year. So
okay, where's the shark?
It's in the other room. I didn't bring the shark. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. You know what, Mike? I'm gonna ask you a personal question. When you take a bath, do you take this with you?
It's not a floating toy.
All right, now you already later on we'll get to merchandising.
Yes.
At that point, I want to see a Lego shark, okay?
Okay, I'll go grab it.
All right, so now before we go over our personal experiences with Jaws, let's go over some Jaws fun facts. Now, the film is based on the 1974 book of the same name, written by Peter Benchley. Ever read the book?
I have not read the novel, no. I have heard nothing but bad things. So
okay, I'm interested that you say that. I'm actually listening to a podcast right now, Cinema Story Origins, and he's going over what he does is he takes like the original like book or whatever it is and then the film and then compares and contrasts them while telling the story. And right now he is doing Jaws. So he's done half of the film and it's really interesting because he'll tell both stories kind of, this scene, then this scene happens and then he'll go to the book and then he'll like read some passages from the book.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating.
Oh, I had a whole college course on something like that where we'd see the movie and then read the book.
There is a great book that I will recommend that I have read called The Jaws Log, which is a wonderful behind-the-scenes book about the making of the film, written by the screenwriter Carl Gottlieb. So that would be my book recommendation when it comes to Jaws.
Oh, nice.
Okay, awesome.
All right, now the film is directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, Lorraine Gary, and Bruce the Shark.
And it was released in June 20th of 1975 in just 464 theaters domestically, and it did gross $260 million domestically, and worldwide to date it has grossed $477 million worldwide.
Jaws has had 3 sequels: Jaws 2, Jaws 3D, and Jaws the Revenge. Luckily, they are all very forgettable, so it doesn't tarnish the original's place in film history.
Yeah.
So 3 sharks were made for the film, unfortunately none of which have survived over the years. A 4th shark was cast from the original mold and can be seen at the Academy Museum's collection in Los Angeles. And there's me and Bruce. This is a very, very big model.
Yeah, it's big. And here, I think you have a little video here.
Ooh.
Check it out. So you're walking around. I mean, you can kind of see the scale. Look at that person walking him back.
Yeah, this is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the mouth right there.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg said he really wanted to make sure that when making the film that he doesn't have jowls like Walter Matthau.
That's pretty funny. Wow.
Yeah, so unfortunately this is not one of the real sharks, but it was cast from the original mold.
Okay.
So it's as close as we're ever gonna get.
Got it.
All right, now let's move on to our personal experiences, because this is one of the films that everyone's got a story around.
Yeah, so Mike, why don't you start with yours, because I want to know how this became your number 1 film.
I just remember seeing it from probably an earlier age than I should have seen it, but it was one of my grandfather's favorite movies, and he was a big fisherman. We always grew up near the water. Even when he moved away from Long Island and went to Florida, he got a house on a canal. Like, he always wanted to live on the water, and was a regular fisherman, like in his spare time when he wasn't working. And then after he retired, he just spent most of his time fishing. So I think he really loved this movie for that aspect of it, just kind of the seagoing and fishing aspect of it, and spending time with characters like Quint, who is a representative of the fishing community. But just for myself, I watched it over and over again growing up and really loved the locations and the characters. And the horror element isn't really what appealed to me the most about it, actually. I always say, like, when I was talking about the Lego set, like, what appealed to me most about the Lego set was getting the boat more than the shark itself. But I do think it's really neat as like a monster movie too. Obviously the shark is larger than your average shark, so you get kind of like a natural anomaly. But I really like the way that the characters relate to each other. That's kind of my favorite thing about the movie and what stands out to me. My favorite scene, I think a lot of people will cite the scene where they're all just kind of sitting around in the boat and relating to each other as being the best scene in the movie. And, it doesn't involve any action or visual effects. It's just 3 guys sitting around bonding and chatting, and it's the best scene in a big blockbuster movie.
All comparing scars and
yes,
war wounds.
Comparing their scars.
And then in the end of that scene, Brody looks down at his like appendix scar.
Yes.
You don't really notice it. We watched a video on Jaws and some fun facts, and they had pointed out that he was looking down at his appendix scar, had they not pointed that out, I wouldn't have known what he was looking at.
No, me either.
Like he's looking at his like waistline, which is like a 29.
He's like, well, do I have anything that I can bring up in this conversation that's worthwhile? But he didn't.
Right.
So what age did you see Jaws?
Oh gosh, I was probably, the first time I watched it, I was probably like 6 or 7 years old.
Wow.
Okay. And did you see it in the theater for a re-release? Did you see it on video?
I don't think I saw it in the theater until college. I would have watched it in college on the big screen at the USC Norris Theater. I think that might have been the first time I saw it in the theater. And then I think since then I've seen it probably half a dozen times in the theater, but it does play really, really well. And then one time we went and saw it on the beach, which was great. They had like a big inflatable movie screen on the beach, and everybody, lined up their blankets, and it was a really appropriate environment to watch that movie, as you can imagine.
Did you all go running into the water after the film?
No.
That sounds really fun, actually.
The first time I really understood the impact of the Jaws theme, the slow build, I was doing a game coordinator job on a beach, and it was like 129 degrees. So we didn't get any kids wanting to play. They just wanted to play in the water. And my DJ and I were there trying to get the kids involved. We could do nothing. And then my DJ friend Alan and I looked at each other, and we knew exactly what we had to do. We didn't even communicate it. I turned the speakers to the DJ system around toward the beach, and he played the Jaws music. Dun-dun. And I'm like, everyone ran out of the water, even kids. Luckily no one got mad at us. They thought it was funny at the end, but they didn't know where the music was coming from. They just associated that with a killer shark. And I wish, this was way before cell phones, I wished I had gotten video of that. Looking back, it's like, maybe I shouldn't have done that because someone could have gotten hurt. But at the moment, we had to do something, anything, to entertain ourselves.
Yeah.
That was it.
It's so crazy how pervasive it is to culture. Like, just last week, I was doing a show with kids, and I always ask them, what's your favorite animal and what do they sound like? And so this one kid was wearing a shark on his shirt, and I was like, what's your favorite animal? And is it a shark? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, what does a shark sound like? He goes, dum, 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 dum. It was so funny.
But then I asked Sarah, does he know that from Jaws or Baby Shark?
The way
Baby Shark borrows
it,
that
but the way
theme.
he did it was more like the Jaws theme.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was dum, dum.
Okay, at that point,
dum,
you say,
dum.
and what's the phone number for your parents? Not that anyone knows phone numbers anymore. It's like, how do you get a hold of your parents?
That doesn't necessarily mean he's seen it, because I knew the Jaws theme and what it was associated with before ever seeing the film. I did not see this film until I was about 16, because the horror thing always scared me away. Like, I'm not a horror film fan. So specifically, the 2 tracks that are on the Boston Pops Spielberg Williams collaboration CD that I practically wore out, and they have 2 tracks that are Jaws, and it's the Jaws main theme, and then Out to Sea and the Shark Cage Fugue are like 2 themes that are on their 1 track. And so I loved those tracks. And I gradually watched all the films that were depicted on that CD. My curiosity got the better of me, and Jaws was on TV at some point. I think I was maybe 16 or 17. And I remember watching it alone in the dark at night in my room on my little small TV. I was like, okay, I can handle this film on a small TV. Like, I did not want to see it totally immersed in a theater. So I did really appreciate the music at that point. And the film, it's not my favorite, but I really can tell it's masterfully done. I'm really remembering that one shot of when the 3 men are taking the boat out onto the water, and it's filmed through the window through the shark jaws. Like, they're going into the mouth of the beast. It's really neat.
I will never forget, they released a poster. It was, that company Mondo that does like the special movie posters. They had a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive poster that was an illustrated version of that shot. Looking out through the shark mouth at the orca going out to sea. And I wanted it so badly, but it sold out like in an instant, as most of those Mondo posters do. So that's a missing gap in my collection.
Yeah,
That's
that is a very classic Spielberg shot. There's
Yes.
so many classic Spielberg shots. Well, at the point they weren't classic just yet, but you can see when you watch other films of his how he has those same kinds of shots, like when someone raises their head into the frame, when someone walks right into the camera. You see that a lot in Indiana Jones.
Yep.
You see a lot of a lot of depth of field.
Yes.
Where someone's in the far background and someone's in the foreground, and his action going on, the overlapping dialogue. There's so much Spielbergism in this film.
There's so many great shots. I remember reading, I believe Alfred Hitchcock survived to see Jaws. And I remember his quote about the movie was that Steven Spielberg was the first filmmaker to, quote, break the proscenium, meaning that Jaws is like a 3D movie without actually having to be in 3D. You know, like the images are coming out of the screen at you, and there's shots of the front of the orca that has a name. There's a name for the front of a boat. What is it?
The bow? Is it the bow?
Sure, I'll take that.
The bow and the stern. So
when it's like sticking out into you're like, oh, it looks 3D, even though I'm not wearing 3D glasses.
Or even that shot where the shark comes into the orca to attack Brody, it comes right to the camera. So there's a lot of those in-your-face shots.
Yes.
All right, now, for me, it was because of Jaws that I was a Star Wars holdout. My neighbor, a good friend of ours, would always take my sister and I to the movies, and he took me alone to see Jaws. I'm going to guess in 1976, when I was 7 years old, and I'm guessing at this point, movies back then were in theaters for like 4.5 years. So they weren't in theaters for a long time, so I'm guessing it was the next year when I saw it, and I watched the film with my eyes closed, my hands over my eyes closed. I don't think I saw I don't recall watching any of the film, but I do recall slumping down in my seat. And I don't think my mom really understood what movie he was taking me to see. Maybe he had said, hey, I want to take Richard to go see Pete's Dragon.
Yeah, right.
Even though that was a year later. I was thinking of a Disney film.
Yeah.
But it was because of that I would not see Star Wars. No, I fell for this once. I'm not going to go see any movies with you because I know what's going to happen. Then I'm sure it was after a re-release that I saw it again with my sister. She loved scary movies, and she took me to see Jaws. And I remember just watching it once again with my hands over my eyes. And I just asked her recently, you saw how scared I was. Why didn't you do something? You're my older sister. Take care of me. And she said, oh, I thought you were just messing around. No, I'm watching the whole movie with my hands over my eyes. I wasn't messing around.
So what did it affect with your water, Richard? With the water?
Oh. And then every summer we would go to Maine on vacation, and we would get a little cottage right at the edge of the ocean. I don't think I slept for those 2 weeks that we were there. Dark water scares it scares the shark out of me, because we know what happened in the beginning, that first scene of Jaws. That one girl, Chrissy, went into the dark water. She never came back out. I learned from Chrissy's mistake. So then I don't think I don't think I saw Jaws until 1985, when a few friends and I, every weekend, we would get a whole bunch of VHS tapes, and we'd spend the whole weekend just recording movies, pirating movies. We were video pirates. And one of my friends really wanted Jaws. Like, oh, okay, maybe I should watch it now. So we recorded the film for my friend, and he fell asleep. Another one of my friends, Henry, said, "You know, it'd be really funny if we paused it at every shark scene."
Paused it?
Paused it. So when my friend got his copy of Jaws, there'd be no shark.
Oh, that's so mean.
It'd be like a 42-minute movie, sans the shark.
The shark-free edit of Jaws.
So the next week he watched it, and he came back and said, I got a really bad edit of Jaws. I don't know. The video store must have taken out all the shark scenes. Like, oh, we watched it that night there, Billy. We saw all the shark scenes. I'm not sure what happened with you. Maybe your subconscious just won't let you see sharks. I don't know. We just messed with this guy for years.
I know Spielberg took a less is more approach, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So those are my personal experiences when we talk Jaws.
Do you have a favorite scene?
My favorite scene would be, wow, that's, you know what?
I know. It's hard.
I want to say the big end battle because I didn't realize how smart this shark was. This is a very intelligent. This shark has got like the intelligence of a dolphin. It's leading the orca out into the sea. It knows how to reverse. The thing can smash into the ship, pull back, smash into the ship again. So at this point, I'm like rooting for the shark. It's like, well, you know what? You're kind of in his territory. I know he just killed Chrissy, and I know he just killed Alex Kinter. And I know he's killing a lot of people, but you know, right now.
Also, that one boy in the pond
that
there was never any backlash for.
Oh, that guy in the boat?
Yeah, the guy in the boat.
Yeah.
In the pond.
Oh yeah, they all forgot about him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that was Ted. He's from Rhode Island. He doesn't really count. Well, okay, so I would say the whole end battle, because seeing again, I get a whole new perspective on it. Oh. So, okay, pop quiz time for you, Mike. How many kills are there in Jaws?
Well, I think you just listed them, right? So we got Chrissy, we've got, well, do you count the dog?
Oh, and he never killed the dog. No, that you're thinking about Jurassic Park, Lost World.
Well, the guy's looking for his dog, and I don't think it ever shows back up, right? So.
Oh no.
Oh, that was a deleted scene. The dog is well and taken care of somewhere in a farm in Connecticut, so we're all good.
All right. Well, we'll call it humans only. So, Chrissy, Kintner boy, the guy in the rowboat, Ted, as you just said, Quint.
Oh.
There's one more, and once again, I didn't remember this until we saw it again. It's like, oh, there's another kill that they just gloss over.
Oh yes. Oh right. So the guy whose boat they find,
Ben Gardner.
Ben Gardner.
That's
yes, exactly.
Right.
Yes, because when
jump scare,
when all of those boats are going out for their lynching of the shark, there's one guy, Ben Gardner, who looks too much like Robert Shaw. And even Sarah said, "Is that Quint?"
Yeah.
It's like,
I
no,
was
he just
confused.
looks too much like him. They should have recast him. So later on, when they find his ship on the bottom of the ocean, his head pops out, and later it was said that it was Ben Gardner. It's very glossed over.
So how many is that? 5?
That's 5.
5.
Totally.
Wow.
So he's got a body count of 5.
Also, it struck me when watching this film. I was thinking, Avatar 2: The Way of Water. The one scene I just cannot stand is where they're going around on the boats and they're killing the whales, like they're whale hunting, and that bothers me no end. And this movie, the ending, the second half of it is very much like that, but they're going after a shark, but the shark has killed so many people that it's like justified here. But just a little part of me was like, oh, like this is a little like that film.
I get that too, and I don't like it when humans go into a animal or a creature's territory and kill the animal. It's like, well, then get out of his den, and you don't bother him, he won't bother you. And if the shark just stayed out into the deep end, never bother anyone, then okay, now the shark is the good guy in the movie, but the shark does come out for the little feeding frenzy, so
yeah,
we gotta stop all that.
And you do feel like really good at the end when Brody's gonna die if he doesn't kill this shark at that moment.
Mono on mono.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 30 years later I realized, oh, this is taking place in Martha's Vineyard. I'm from Massachusetts, and I've been to Martha's Vineyard a ton of times. I never put that together.
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh, this was taking place like a hop, skip, and a jump from where I live.
Is that part of the arm of
Yes, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Okay.
When I say hop, skip, and a jump, maybe hop 3 skips and 15 jumps from where I live. But I've been there before. I just never put it together that was the same location.
Wow.
I have always wanted to go. I really want to go to Martha's Vineyard and do the Jaws tour of all the locations there. Someday I will get there and make a pilgrimage, but I have not.
That would be fun.
It's beautiful. A beautiful little town, a little sleepy town, except for the summertime when people are being eaten. All right, now let's go around and each one of us share something fun you want to talk about when talking about Jaws.
And we'll do one at a time. So like Mike, you share one thing, I'll share something. Richard,
then we'll go around. There's
like different topics or different facts that
it's
you
such
have.
a broad topic when you're talking about Jaws. Mike, you want to go first? You're our
Sure.
guest.
I put together a few behind-the-scenes tidbits about Jaws. I think most people know that the name of the shark in Jaws is Bruce, but I don't know if most people know where that originally came from. Steven Spielberg named the shark after his lawyer, Bruce Raymer. You know, you call lawyers sharks, I guess. But that Bruce Raymer, I think, is still alive. I found an interview with him at Variety from a month ago or a month or two ago, where he's talking about the 50th anniversary of Jaws and like having had the shark been having the shark named after him.
Now, how often at a cocktail party does he say, "Okay, sit down for this, okay? You know the shark in Jaws. This shark right over here.
Oh yeah.
this was named after me." Yeah,
That's really
Bruce.
cool.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. Okay, someone get Bruce a martini. All right, Sarah.
Okay, so I will talk about the music
Oh.
by John Williams, of course. And Jaws was the second film score that Williams composed for Steven Spielberg. And when Williams...
The first one being?
Oh, the first one being...
Sugarland Express.
Thank you. Sugarland Express. I couldn't think of the name of it. Yes, and so when John Williams first played the theme on the piano for Steven Spielberg, Spielberg thought it was a joke.
I expected to hear something kind of weird and melodic, you know, and really kind of tonal but eerie, and what he played me instead with two fingers on the lower keys was dun 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 dun. And at first I began to laugh. I thought he had a great sense of humor. I thought he was putting me on. And he said, "No, that's the theme to Jaws." And I said, "Play it again." He played it again. And he played it again, and it suddenly seemed right. And John found a signature for the entire movie.
It worked out. Like, he was like, okay, I trust you, John Williams. Because, you know, everyone trusts John Williams, of course.
Can I add on to that and say,
yeah,
one of my little nitpicks about the way Jaws is discussed in popular culture is with the music, because I feel like people only remember that main title theme, which, you know, the 2-note thing you're talking about, but there's so much wonderful music in this movie. When I had growing up, I had the soundtrack on CD. That's not even the oldest version, obviously, but there was a track called Tourists on the Menu that I really liked. And that's when all the tourists are arriving on the ferry. I think it's just called Montage now on the modern releases of the soundtrack. And then like there's one called the Shark Cage Fugue,
yes,
which is great. And then
that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And then there's one called Out to Sea, which is also really terrific. But yeah, all the music, it's just as good. The soundtrack is just as good as any of his Star Wars work or Indiana Jones, any of his most famous scores. I would put Jaws right up there with any of them.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And that was all Williams who did that kind of sea shanty theme, that dun 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 dun, that kind of thing. Like, Spielberg had thought that he should do more of a, you know, scary score, but Williams was like, well, I feel like this is more of a nautical adventure.
Yes.
It's like a somber, you know, horror film, but you have to have moments of joy. And right now, that theme, when they go out on the boat to get the shark, you know, like they're like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna, you know, it's depicting their state of mind at that point. And in fact, we were watching it and I was paying special attention to the music this last time around, and there is almost no music except for the shark theme in the first half of the film. Instead, you get a lot of beach sounds, boat sounds, the summer sounds of the island, that tourist track, you know, when people are finally arriving for the 4th of July, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. And you only really hear the score come in right after the mom whose kid has died. Yeah, the mom
Alex Kinter's mom.
Yeah, so Mrs. Kinter. She comes up to Brody and she has just learned that Brody knew that someone had died the week before. And so she admonishes him, and it's totally silent as she's saying her speech. But right after she ends and she turns on him and walks away, you get this very somber piece coming in. And you know that that's depicting Brody's state of mind at that point.
I'm sorry, Martin. She's wrong. No, she's not.
And that's like his turning point, right? That's when he decides, okay, we've got to do everything we can to kill this shark.
There is an episode of either the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch in Star Wars animation. I think Sarah knows what I'm talking about here.
It's Star Wars Rebels.
Is it
Star
Rebels?
Wars Rebels.
Okay.
Yes.
And
where
it's
Evan Kiner intentionally borrows heavily from the Jaws score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that scene is so Jaws.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. So there's just a few more fun facts about the music. So the Jaws score is John Williams' second Oscar win after Fiddler on the Roof in 1971. And it was voted the 6th greatest movie score of all time by AFI.
Theme or the whole score?
The score.
It's really funny, Richard. Whenever I hear the Harry Potter score, I think to myself, this feels like John Williams is ripping off his own score for Hook, the movie Hook.
I can see that too.
After this is over, I'm going to put on my wife got me a wonderful 2-disc set of the vinyl. I think it was Mondo also released the vinyl soundtrack for Jaws. It's really, really great. It's one of those modern soundtracks that has every second of the score from the movie. When I was growing up, they would leave out so much from the record.
Well, actually, that was a good segue, Mike, because you just talked about a piece of merchandise you bought. So, Richard, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the merchandising as soon as Mike gets up and goes to get his Lego shark.
Okay.
We'll wait.
We'll wait. Board.
Is he back yet?
No.
How big is Mike's apartment? Mike! I think Mike was eaten by a shark. Mike?
All right. There's the shark.
Oh, that's so cool. You
That
had to
was-
put it together. Wait, how big is that compared to the boat?
That was well worth the wait.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, it's the scale. It's the scale.
That is gigantic.
I didn't bring the stand, but it does have a little stand that it goes on.
I'm so happy that you were able to build the shark instead of it just being a
does it
plastic figure.
Roll like the shark in the movie, kind of rolls up on the ship. Then when you see behind the scenes, he's on a big spinning wheel. That's how he rolls.
I bet someone has done that where they stop motion made the shark on the Lego ship. On the Lego
I'm
Orca.
sure they have.
That would be cool.
All right. So now I'm gonna springboard off of Mike's Lego shark and talk about some more merchandising. Like with Star Wars, no one knew this was going to be a blockbuster worthy of merchandise. So when the film hit big, many companies repackaged shark toys with a Jaws logo. Let's take a look at this here.
Okay.
Look at this. This is clearly not Jaws toys.
Oh my goodness.
People who just had the foresight of doing Jaws merchandise before the movie came out said, "Oh, good. This is all gonna make sense now."
Wait, so what? They're rings? Little rings.
Yeah, little rings.
Oh, little plastic rings.
Yes, and a Jaws fin. And
This is cool.
it's it's like the prop from the movie with those
Float-a-fin.
those two kids had a fin on their back, and I hope those kids were used as chum.
Oh, I know,
yeah,
right?
for what they did.
Scaring the town.
Yeah, come on. After someone just died, come on. Think about Chrissy. And we have what is this?
This is a 36-inch long inflatable shark.
Wow.
Like that. Oh, there's a water squirter shark. Okay, well, that's fun.
Yeah, see, all they
Can you
gotta do
imagine?
is put the Jaws logo on it, and
Yeah.
boom, we have Jaws merchandising.
Yeah. And then now this is another float. Are these two? Oh, this is a wear-a-fin. This is a float-a-fin.
Yeah, you throw it in the pool.
Okay.
And people will think
Oh.
it's a real shark fin.
And then are these water rings?
Yeah.
Okay, contains two
And
rings.
they had shirts and beach towels and all the easy merchandise to do. Then came the specialized merchandise like the Halloween costume.
Oh,
Because
that is hilarious.
when you are a child, You want to be a killer shark, and of course, you want to put a naked woman on the child's Halloween costume.
I feel like we saw the underside of the shark in the movie, and I don't remember him having the poster of the movie on his belly.
No.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
They taught Bruce how to market himself.
That is so funny. So, okay, Richard, now do you remember anyone your age wearing this costume?
Nope. Not a bit. Not a bit. Because at this stage, we were all wearing our Spider-Mans and Batmans. And since I was scared of Jaws, why would I ever want to wear this costume?
This is hilarious. The eye holes. There's like eye holes in
right
the mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
I couldn't see any child wearing this costume. If any parent let their kid wear this costume, well, you know what? It's been 50 years, but I'm still going to call social services.
Of course.
It looks more like Candygram.
Yeah, Land Shark, Candygram.
Who is it?
Telegram.
Oh, telegram. Just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
All right, then there were more specialized Jaws merchandise, like the Game of Jaws by Ideal.
Jaws. Jaws is the game where you try to fish out what's in the jaws of the great white shark.
I'm going for the camera. Made it.
But be careful, because if you remove the wrong piece, the jaws will get you. You're out. Jaws. It's you against the great white shark and each other from Ideal.
Now, this was a really fun game that a friend of mine had, but it didn't take too long to figure out how to win the game.
Oh.
Because there was a couple of pieces in the shark's mouth. You had to keep taking them out until finally the jaw snapped.
Ah, cool.
Like, okay, if I take out the camera, take out the skull, at that point, the jaw will close. So, take out those things first.
Okay, so you got into a rhythm of it.
Yes,
You kinda knew.
exactly. So the third time playing, it's like, okay, when's Star Wars coming out?
Have you guys played the modern board game? I think it's from Ravensburger. There's a Jaws board game. It's really good. I really like it a lot, actually. We've played it a bunch of times. Where like one player is the shark and three other players are Brody, Quint, and Hooper. And it takes place in two parts, like the movie. Like the first part is all on the island, and the second part is all on the boat. It's really fun. I highly recommend it.
Whoa.
I really like Ravensburger games, so wow, that's. Do you have it?
Yeah, we have it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, don't go and get it. That's
Party
okay.
at
That's
Mike's
okay.
house. Party at Mike's house.
All right, now there's some recent Jaws merchandise that just came out. Sarah, let's see Bruce.
Okay, you want to see Bruce? He's so cute.
This is the Universal Studios theme park sipper.
And Mike has
Mike's
one
got
too.
one too.
Donna,
How do you not get
Donna.
this? And it depicts the last scene of the movie when Brody throws the tank in the shark's mouth before the shark's demise.
I do like
cool.
that it depicts the shark seconds before it blows up. I don't understand what the rope. I guess the rope is just so you could wear it around your neck.
It's more nautical.
And it's very nicely done. Like, we're very impressed by this rope.
I mean, there are parts where he's attached to rope to the barrels, I guess. So that's maybe what they're going for. I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's a way to wear it. That's all it is.
But then there's another water sipper. Oh no, this is a popcorn bucket.
Yeah,
it's a popcorn bucket of the non-cartoony shark.
I actually like that bucket on the left there more. It's the billboard from Amity Island.
Oh, that's great. Is it the defaced billboard? Oh, cool.
This is a nicely sculpted shark.
Mm-hmm.
It's even got all the battle damage, but I like our cartoony shark better.
Yeah, it's cute.
All right, now when talking Jaws, you got to talk some Jaws 2. All right, so here's some Jaws 2 merchandise. And I recall seeing this comic when I was a kid. It flipped me out. This really scared me because look at the look on this woman's face. That is the look of, I know I only have seconds to live. That's not a comic for kids.
No.
It almost looks like a Mad Magazine style artwork, doesn't it?
You know what? It does. It really, really does. Now that you mention it, it really does. But nothing cartoony about this woman who's going to get just sucked into this shark's mouth.
I love this. A Marvel Super Special, Jaws 2, based on characters from the Smash Universal movie. What?
It came out before the movie, so hey, that's a little presumptuous, isn't it, Marvel? Then there's the plush,
Is this a plush
Jaws 2 shark with all this scorching.
That's so creepy looking.
That is very, very creepy looking. And I imagine there's some merchandiser out there with like a huge warehouse full of these things. I doubt they sold 2 of these.
Wow.
But the one thing I did get for Jaws 2 were the trading cards. Yes, I bought Jaws 2 trading cards. I at the time I liked this movie better than the first one.
Interesting.
I'll have to cut that part out.
When did Jaws 2 come out?
1978.
Wow.
Yeah, and
oh man,
I remember this came out, these cards, the same time as the fifth series of the top Star Wars cards.
Okay.
So here's Jaws 2 and Star Wars cards. And the Star Wars box is almost empty, and the Jaws 2 was like as full as this one right over here. But you know what? I think I bought the only 2 packs ever sold in the existence of Jaws 2 trading cards.
That is so funny. Wow.
All right, so let's go around again. So, Mike, give us another Jaws thing that you want us to know about.
Well, earlier you guys had brought up the novel, and yes, I have not read it, but I do know that there is a subplot in the novel that was cut out for the film in which Matt Hooper has an affair with Ellen Brody, Chief Brody's wife, which is... It just seems like that's an easy cut right there. Like, feels like pretty extraneous. I can't picture that working in the movie.
Not at all. Or like just based on even the time they had in the film. Right. Wow.
What
I don't know. I can't wait to listen to the Cinema Story Origins about this, because I'm sure he's going to bring this up. Wow. Okay. Well, I actually have a fun fact that relates to that, Mike.
Okay.
So the writers have cameos in the film.
Yes.
So you mentioned Peter Benchley. He's the writer of the book and the first draft of the screenplay. However, Carl Gottlieb was brought in to basically rewrite the screenplay, because I guess, according to popular culture, Benchley wasn't a very good screenwriter. He's good at the novel.
No, just because you can write a book doesn't mean you can write a...
It's like totally like a different... Yeah.
Yeah, a whole different animal.
Yeah. So Carl Gottlieb, he appears as a reporter, and he's on the ferry scene in the first act of the film where the mayor and Gottlieb as Meadows and another guy are trying to convince Brody that he should not close the beaches because otherwise the town would go into financial ruin because they depend on that summer money for their whole entire year.
He's also the guy who wants to take a picture of that little tiny tiger shark where everyone's like, hey, you guys got the shark. You got the shark. Are you kidding me? This thing is about as big as like a loaf of bread. This thing is not going to terrorize the way you think it is. But he's also he's the guy who wanted to take a picture and telling that young guy, move out of the way.
Yeah.
Young guy, get out of the way. And Richard Driver is trying to photobomb.
Yeah. He also doesn't look that young to me, but
no, not at all. Not at all.
Not with that big old beard.
You know, a couple people call Richard Dreyfuss young, like the Ben Gardner when Richard Dreyfuss first gets off the boat in Amity and Ben Gardner meets him at the dock. He's like, hey there, young fella. And I'm always thinking like he doesn't ever look that young to me in this movie. I don't know. Maybe he's young for the 70s, I guess.
I think I just pieced something together. I think I like Jaws 2 because it had characters more of my age or around my age. I was 9 and those teenagers were like 15, 16, 17 years old. So they're closer to my age, where Jaws had 3 old guys. At the time, and I'm sure like Robert Shaw was probably like 29. That's how I couldn't really connect with that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, Richard Dreyfuss was born in 1947, so he would have been 28 years old.
27 when they shot it.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I was 6 or 7 when I saw this, he was old. 27 was old.
Well, all the hair, it just
Yeah.
Like, had he been clean shaven, I think he would have looked a little younger.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in American Graffiti, just a couple of years before
Right.
that,
That's
he was
true.
playing a high school kid.
That's
and you believe that he was a 17, 18-year-old high school kid.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Peter Benchley, he is the news reporter on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so he's on the beach doing a news report about how the beaches are going to stay open, even though there's been shark attacks, and there's like a bunch of kids behind them, and not one of them is doing anything obscene. Now, you know when you get a bunch of people like that in the back of a news camera, someone's gonna do something stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
But no, not these kids. Like, we're gonna behave. And I'm sure there's like moms and dads like, hey, if you don't behave, Jaws will come and get you. it's like a myth at this point. It's like the boogeyman. You know, I'll take the boogeyman. Just I don't want to be thrown into the sea with Jaws.
Right.
All right, my turn?
Yes.
Because I want to talk about the Universal Studios theme park attractions all around Jaws. Now, the tram tour. Now, Mike, you've been on the tram tour a billion times like us, right?
Yes. Well, I was on it yesterday, in fact.
Oh.
Nice.
Wow, Mike really does a lot for preparation. Now, the tram tour version at Hollywood's Universal theme park takes visitors through the town of Amity, and there they witness a scuba diver being attacked, a dock collapsing which causes an explosion, and the shark lunging alongside the tram trolley. And I can never get enough of this. It's like going on Rise of the Resistance. You can never get enough of walking into the Star Destroyer hangar and seeing all those stormtroopers. You can do that a billion times. This part of the tram tour, you just gotta love. And you always want to sit to the right side.
I was gonna say you always want to sit right on the right. You've gotten some pretty amazing pictures, actually. Like, here, let's show this one. This is a really good one that you got, Richard. Look at that.
Cheese.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah, and this opened in 1976. They started doing the Jaws edition in 1976. That's the year after the movie came out. That's pretty quick, and it still runs today. Now, a full ride opened in Florida's theme park in 1990 and in Japan in 2001, and now I'm really jealous.
Yeah, I have never been on this. Have you, Mike?
Yeah, so I grew up on the East Coast going to Walt Disney World and Universal Studios Florida after that opened, and I probably did the Jaws ride there half a dozen times, and I really, really miss it. It was awesome. It was basically the length of the Jungle Cruise, I would say, as far as like duration goes, but you keep encountering Jaws over and over again. It's incredible, and I can't believe they tore it down. Diagon Alley is very cool, but nothing would top having Jaws back
That's where
again.
it is.
Yeah.
Diagon Alley is like right over where the Jaws ride was.
And it's
2012, they realized, okay, enough of Jaws. We want Harry Potter.
Right? It still exists in Japan, at Universal Studios Japan, but when I was in Japan for Star Wars Celebration, the ride was down for refurbishment. So we didn't even bother going to Universal.
That didn't even help the case over in Florida because it kept breaking down. So they thought, okay, let's put Harry Potter there and be done with it. It has a really fun story to the ride. Now, the story of the ride goes that after the shark, nicknamed Jaws, was eventually destroyed by in-universe, destroyed by Chief Brody, Matt Hooper, and Quint in 1974, Brody became a legend in Amity Harbor, and the Jaws incident inspired Steven Spielberg to make his movie. So that real-life in-universe incident inspired Spielberg to go, hey, there's a movie in there.
Making the movie for 75.
Yes.
Okay.
However, tourism on Amity Island strongly decreased following the incident due to the fear of sharks, rightfully so. Eventually, resident seaman Jake Grundy decided to open a new boat tour on the island, which would take guests out to the historic areas where the shark attacks actually occurred, which ultimately brought back tourism to the island.
That's a fun backstory. So is Jake Grundy
He's the new Brody.
Yeah,
he's the new main character. He's the character in this story.
Okay.
Well, tourism's not going to last long because when every boat goes out there, it gets attacked by another shark. At what point will Grundy say, "Okay, no more boat rides"?
Yeah.
Every time we go out there, this thing just keeps attacking us. And the shark, from the point of view of the shark is like, leave me alone. I was doing just fine. Stop bringing these tourists with their cell phones, with their chum. I don't need any of this. Leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. That's the backstory I've worked out in my head.
Nice.
We didn't have cell
So-
phones back then when the ride opened up, but
I'm a forward thinker. All right, so
Yes.
at some point we got to get out there. Before we did our homework for this show, I didn't know that there was a Jaws ride.
Yeah, I did not either. We're very jealous of you, Mike.
Yeah. And once again, something that Mike did not tell us about.
Yeah. Ugh.
Mike, what else are you sitting on over there?
I honestly took it for granted as a kid growing up. Going, well, I think what year did it open? 1990. So I was like 10 years old, and then I went on it a bunch between then and like 1998 when I came out here to college. But there was also a ride called Kongfrontation, which is like the original King Kong part of the Universal Studios tour here, but again, like expanded to like full length ride. And that was awesome. And that's gone now. Yeah, so much cool stuff has disappeared from theme parks over the years, including that Jaws ride. And I really regret it.
I know.
Well, there is something that has appeared at Universal Studios. And Mike, you were just there for Mega Movie Summer. So can you tell us about your encounters, your Jaws encounters?
I never thought I would see this in my entire life, so I'm really glad they're doing it. For the 50th anniversary of Jaws, they have brought in new meet and greet characters. For the first time ever, I'm pretty sure, you can meet and interact with Chief Brody. I almost said Chief Hooper, which is not the name of the character. Chief Brody and Captain Quint. And they're both, the actors who perform them are both really, really great, and they know their stuff. And I interacted with both of them and got to meet them. They're in front of one of these. Actually, I think this is a new big hanging shark that they built because it looks different from ones that I've seen in the past. It's really detailed, and I just loved everything that they did. This is going to be right by the entrance to the Waterworld show at Universal Studios Hollywood. But I'm super happy that they pulled in actors to portray Quint and Brody at Universal Hollywood. I wish they would do Hooper as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
I would hope so.
Yeah, they're having a hard time finding a Richard Dreyfuss lookalike.
Yeah.
So right now we're looking at a picture of you and Chief Brody.
Now, you said this is right by Waterworld, but what the background is like houses. So where?
That's a backdrop. It's sort of like a painted backdrop to make it look like Amity.
Oh, wow, that looks real.
It does. It looks really good.
Yep.
Wow.
Like, I thought they had let you out of the tram tour at that Amity Island section.
Oh, that I love that little Amity Island area by the Jaws, where the Jaws lunges, because they have got these little faux houses, and I would have loved to run around. I think we did run around there when we did that Minion race.
That's right.
Back in like 2017.
Yeah.
I think
the Minion 5K.
Yeah, I think. Oh, wow.
So the Amity section on the studio tour has also been updated with new decorations to make it look like it's celebrating the 4th of July, also for the 50th anniversary. So that's worth it going to see as well.
As impressive as that shark is, I wish they had made it a little bit bigger to match the shark from the movie.
How big it is? Yeah, because it looks like the smaller shark that they caught, right?
Yeah.
It looks bigger in person, I will say. I think it's probably just the fact that it's behind us. It's a little bit of like perspective is off, but it does look bigger in person, I would say. There's Quint.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you sure this is not Robert Shaw?
I know. He looks so good. And then look at this. He's ready to pose for the cameras.
Really great. And I was curious if this actor performed other characters at the park, and I found out that he is also the mayor of Whoville during Grinchmas, and he has done Doc Brown as well. And he's just really, really talented. He must be a wonderful like impressionist. But I thought he did a great job.
He looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is really cool. And I think, Mike, you have on your Instagram, I believe, where you were able to sing with Quint?
That would be on the Laughing Place X account.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So did you? I've seen some videos of people talking with Brody, and they're on their game. So whatever people ask them, they're like so in character, and so in universe. And you say you sang that little sea shanty
I sang farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies, and then we went into show me the way
Be
to
the
go
way to
home.
go
Yep.
home.
And he sang right along with you.
He did. He was great. And we talked a little
Wow.
bit about Hooper and Brody and the mayor, how he doesn't much like the mayor, and yeah, it was really wonderful. It's like he stepped right out of the movie, honestly.
Yeah, these Universal Studios theme park performers are just top notch. You go look at our Doc Brown video and Marty McFly
Yeah.
video. It's like, okay, yeah, top notch. These theme park performers should win Oscars.
Speaking of Doc and Marty, they are also part of the Mega Movie Summer right now at Universal Hollywood. They're all over by Universal Plaza by Mel's Diner. They have the DeLorean
Oh,
park
okay.
there, and you can meet both Doc and Marty separately. They don't come out together, but they kind of alternate. And then they have Einstein, the dog, sitting in the DeLorean as well.
Wow.
Real dog.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, we're planning on going over there Sunday, so
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see all this.
Yeah.
All right, now round 3, Mike.
Okay.
Give us another round of behind the scenes tidbits.
Yeah, so speaking of Robert Shaw, one of my favorite little behind the scenes tidbits was when Robert Shaw got the script and read his speech that he gives during that scene in the boat where he talks about the USS Indianapolis. I believe the scene was originally like 4 pages long. Just that one speech was 4 pages long, and he asked Steven Spielberg if he could rewrite it himself, because Robert Shaw was also a playwright in addition to being an actor. He's a British, traditionally Shakespearean actor, and he wrote his own plays and everything. And he went back, and I think he cut like 2/3 out of it and rearranged it and tightened it up and brought it back, and that's the version that ended up in the movie.
Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief. He was coming back from the island of Tinian to Leyte, just delivered the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb. 1,100 men went into the water. The vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about half an hour. Tiger, 13-footer. You know that when you're in the water, Chief? You tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail. What we didn't know was our bomb mission had been so secret. No distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us overdue for a week. Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. Kind of like old squares in a battle, like you see in a calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo. And the idea was, shark comes to the nearest man, that man he start pounding and hollering and screaming. Sometimes the shark would go away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you, right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
And I believe it took him 2 days to feel like he nailed it. Like they did an entire, I think the first day that they shot that scene, Robert Shaw really got drunk. He like wanted to perform it as though he, having actually consumed a bunch of alcohol and gotten drunk, and it didn't work. And he begged Steven Spielberg to let him try it again the following day, and did not get quite as drunk, I don't think, and ended up nailing it that day. But yeah, I thought it was neat that he rewrote that scene himself.
Yeah, I had heard that. Yeah, he was drunk a lot of the time. I had heard that animosity between
Yes.
Hooper and Quint
Yeah.
was kind of real.
There's a whole play. I think Robert Shaw's son, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he wrote a play that was performed off Broadway, I think, a couple years ago. And it's about the making of Jaws and the relationship between those 3 actors on set.
Wow.
And the son of Robert Shaw plays Robert Shaw.
Yeah, critically acclaimed play.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
hope it tours.
Yeah, that would be
Wow.
awesome.
I've never heard of this. Have you seen it, Mike?
No, I would love to, though.
Okay.
All right,
Wow.
Skywalking, Who's the Boss road trip.
Yeah.
Woo!
We go to Japan to go on the ride, and then we go see the play.
Sounds good.
And then go to Martha's Vineyard on the way home.
Yes.
And we'll take our sharks with us.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, I have a fun fact. And Mike, you had mentioned that the shark in Jaws' name is Bruce, after Spielberg's lawyer. However, there were names for the sharks in the sequels.
Oh.
There's more shark nicknames. So are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
So in Jaws 2, the shark was nicknamed Brucette. In Jaws 3D, the shark was named Bruschetta. And in Jaws the Revenge, the shark was called Vengeance.
That's Batman.
Like Batman.
Yeah.
So I thought that was so funny.
Is it the fourth one, Jaws the Revenge, where the shark actually roars?
Yes.
Like a lion?
Yes, it is. It comes at the boat. Yeah.
It's roaring.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all going, is that Batman or a lion out there? Can't
It's
really
vengeance.
tell. Oh, they should have just called the shark a better lawyer.
Yeah.
Get me out of these deals.
You know what? I have one more fun fact that I found, and I thought it was hilarious. So I'll just share it because I wasn't going to, but now I am. So, as we all know, Steven Spielberg always wanted to direct a James Bond film. This is how he ended up directing Indiana Jones, because it was kind of his surrogate James Bond. But he even went so far as to make a subtle nod to James Bond in Jaws. So in the scene where Hooper and Brody are cutting open the tiger shark, the license plate that Hooper cuts out of him, it says Louisiana 73, and that's the setting and the release year of Live and Let Die, a James Bond film. And the registration number begins with 007. I thought that was great.
I remember being asked a trivia question on a cruise that we went on. That was what was the license plate? What state was the license plate from that they found in the shark's stomach in Jaws? And I got it right. I was very proud of myself.
That's awesome. Did you like really know that it was Louisiana? You just knew it off the top of your head. You didn't have to think.
Yeah, I think I would have gotten that one right too, just because it makes no sense.
Right.
Well, I guess they were saying the shark swam up the
from
coast.
southern waters.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because, you know what, it doesn't have to be Louisiana that came from,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like cars in the US can drive anywhere.
Well, as soon as Mrs. Kinter put out the bounty on the shark, people were coming from all over the place for that $3,000.
Very true. Oh my gosh.
All right, my turn.
Okay.
All right, with every big blockbuster, what do you get? Copycats and ripoffs. So there are countless Jaws copycats and ripoffs, and I'm going to go through just a couple, and we'll see if any of us had seen any of these.
Okay, this will be fun.
All right, of course, got to start off with Alien from 1979. This was pitched as Jaws in space.
Oh.
So I would say it was more of an inspiration for the
Yes.
film, not really a copycat or a ripoff, but it still kind of goes in there as a not a knockoff, but
Well, it made it get the green light.
yeah, very much so. Oh, Jaws in space, let's do it.
It's like Star Wars is space, Jaws is a big blockbuster, Jaws in okay.
So Alien was inspired by Jaws, the rest not so much. In 1977, we got the film Orca. This time, it's about the shark's nemesis, a whale. And you know what? I was sucked into all this frenzy because by 1977, I thought, oh, I'm a big boy now. I'm not going to be afraid. And my friends and I went to go see Orca. It's like, no, nothing to be afraid about this.
Oh, okay.
Nothing whatsoever.
Wasn't good?
No, not whatsoever.
I've never seen this.
Yeah,
Mike,
no.
have you?
I've not seen Orca, but I have seen the one that Richard's probably going to mention next.
Oh.
Would that be, once again, from 1977, Barracuda?
No.
And guess what the terrorizing fish is in this one?
A clownfish.
A barracuda. This one I have not seen.
Nice.
Now this next one I did see, and it did scare the jaws out of me. It's Piranha from 1978.
That's the one.
Mike's nodding his head. Okay.
Yes. Did you see this?
I saw Joe Dante, right?
Yes. And so guess what the terrorizing sea creature was?
Was it piranhas?
Oh! It's right there in the title. Yeah, directed by Joe Dante. Steven Spielberg did say this was the best of the Jaws ripoffs.
Oh, wow.
And Joe Dante went on to work with Spielberg on Gremlins.
On Gremlins, yeah.
Nice.
And then didn't James Cameron direct Piranha 2?
Yes, he did.
Oh my God.
Over at the Roger Corman studio.
Yeah.
Wow. When he was just coming up, I'm sure.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, he'd already done Terminator and Aliens.
He's really slumming it after that.
Yeah, it's like, I need a job. I don't want to get pigeonholed, so I need something else.
All right, y'all are kidding, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure. People can't see your faces if they're listening on.
But you know what? A tangent.
Okay.
James Cameron did start off at the Roger Corman studio because they were doing a spider film, and no one else could tame or direct spiders except for James Cameron. So what he did is have all these spiders on a platform, and he would heat up a certain part of the underneath. So the spider's like, hey, let's move over here on this side. And then he'd light up this part of the plank, and the spiders would move on to that side. And he showed Roger Corman this test footage. He's like, okay, you got the job.
Wow.
just that easy.
No spiders were cooked in the making of this movie.
No. Well, I can't confirm or deny that. All right. We're going to end these copycats with the Sharknado films.
Yes. They're so stupid. They're fun.
They are very fun. And with the fourth one being Sharknado, The Fourth Awakens, with a cameo by Daniel Logan as Captain Fett.
Didn't we see that one?
Yes, we did. Thinking maybe there'll be some shades of Force Awakens in there. No, not whatsoever. It was just, but once again, the title got us.
Yeah, of course. Have you seen any of these, Mike?
I haven't seen any of the Sharknado movies, but I have seen, there were movies in like the late 90s or early 2000s called Shark Attack. And I think there were like 3 or 4 of them. And I've seen some of those, and they're pretty hilariously bad also.
Yeah. You ain't say nothing. You gotta see these Sharknado movies. They're so bad that they're really fun.
They're funny. I mean, the effects even, like just to make a tornado with sharks.
I mean, who was the one that said, what happens if we add tornadoes and sharks? Okay, that is a movie worthy of a franchise. And to see Ian Zerling cut a shark in half with a chainsaw as it's dive bombing him. That's the shot there. Well, I'm sure they said, okay, we need more of these movies. We need many, many more. And I think they did like 5.
Wow.
I'm sure each one made as much money as the last.
I think there's also a movie, I haven't seen this one either, but there's also a movie called Shark Exorcist. Are you familiar?
What?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I am pretty sure that's a real thing.
So this was a really fun segment because we've never shared our experiences with Jaws.
No.
Oh, hold on. Mike's got one more comment.
There was an NES video game called Jaws when I was growing up that was so incredibly frustrating. But it was like so many of these Nintendo games in the 80s that you just never could beat it. You just sit there playing it for hours and hours and it doesn't ever go anywhere. It was one of those games. But if you have a chance to check that out, it's not worth playing. It's just Jaws.
Is that like the Atari Superman game?
Yeah, something like that.
Or the Atari ET game.
Oh, yeah, all those. Yeah. So was that because the problem with those games in the 80s was that you couldn't, there was no like game save. So you literally had to start from the beginning every time you played. So you got really good at like the first 3 levels. And then beyond that, it's like,
And in the Jaws video game, you're just a scuba diver and you're shooting these little harpoons at like stingrays and crabs in the beginning, like in the movie. And then eventually the shark comes and just kills you. And you're like, I don't know. And there's part where you're driving the boat around, but it was so baffling. I don't think I ever beat it. So
that's so funny.
I'm sure somebody on YouTube has like a playthrough that you can find where they've finally figured out how to complete that game. But it was baffling to me growing up.
That is weird.
How fun, though.
All right, Mike, so if anyone wants to reach out on social media and say, hey, Mike, were you really the inspiration for Amityville Horror or any Jaws-related questions, where can they go to find you?
So I am on Instagram at Who's the Boss Pod. which is named after my Star Wars podcast, Who's the Boss, which I do for the website that I work for, which is called laughingplace.com, where we cover everything and anything that Disney owns, the Walt Disney Company, including Lucasfilm and Marvel Studios and all the theme parks and ESPN. Everything under the Disney umbrella, Laughing Place covers it. And that's where I spend my working days and, talking about Star Wars. So please listen to the podcast. You guys have been on a number of times. You were on recently to talk about the best arc of Andor season 2, arguably, I guess, but it was a really fun discussion with you guys. And I always enjoy coming on your show to talk with you as well.
Yes, we had a great discussion about the Gorman massacre and the political upheaval. I just hope real life doesn't replicate.
Yeah, it's looking like it, isn't it?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Never mind. Never mind. All right, Mike. Well, thank you very, very much. Now, as we close out, we all got to do the dun 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 dun.
So we put out on social media that it's Jaws 50th anniversary. We want to hear your stories. Do you have any relation to it? Like what does this mean to you?
Like we said in our conversation, everyone's got a Jaws story, and apparently y'all got some Jaws stories coming.
Yes, and the first one comes from my Aunt Ann Heitman Cortez. She said, I grew up with an in-ground swimming pool that Peter Heitman, my dad, helped build, and my best friend Sandy and I would tread water and reenact the first girl who was shaken and pulled underwater by the shark. Just vocalizing the theme song would freak us out of the pool. So they freaked each other out by reenacting that scene. Ooh, that's creepy, Aunt Ann.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I guess I reenacted Little Mermaid. She reenacted Jaws. Two different generations.
It runs in the family. Yeah. All right. Alan Sanborn says, my mom took us to see Jaws later that summer, probably in August. I believe it was at the Plitt Theater in Century City where Star Wars would reign so supremely 2 years later. I would have been turning just 14 years old. That opening shark attack with John Williams' epic theme left a strong impression, and I remember jumping and screaming many times, especially at Ben Gardner's head popping out. The guy in the rowboat's severed leg dropping in the pond also left a big impression on me. The movie is perfectly cast, and as far as I'm concerned, a huge improvement on Peter Benchley's novel, as we've just found out.
Mm-hmm.
When it returned to the National Theater in Westwood the following year, my friends and I saw it several times, securing its position as one of the all-time favorite movies. So many classic lines and scenes in Jaws. Happy 50th anniversary to Jaws. What a smile you have.
Nice. Thank you, Alan. Wow, he remembers a lot.
Yeah, he does.
My goodness. All right, so Julie Gildersleeve says, as a kid, the idea of Jaws scared me enough to keep me from watching the movie and gave me nightmares, even though I never watched it. This past weekend, I finally watched Jaws for the first time and was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Jaws is Jurassic Park without the dinosaurs. I spent the whole movie saying things like, not the dog, don't let him eat the dog.
Now, okay, we talked about this with Mike.
Yes.
I don't believe that Jaws ate the dog.
And yet we don't see the dog later.
No, but we weren't really following the dog story.
No, we weren't.
And it was a packed beach, so we were really following Alex Kinter and the shark out there and
Right.
Michael, Brody's son.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't going like, okay, let's cut to the dog, make sure he's safe.
No, that's true. And we didn't see any dog, pieces.
Yeah, and we would have seen maybe the collar wash up on shore.
Yeah.
So I truly believe the dog survived Jaws.
Okay, you guys let us know. All right. All right, Julie continues. The music tells the story in true John Williams fashion and even lets you know when to close your eyes if you are afraid to watch.
Oh,
that's a good point.
That's a very good point.
Wow. Ultimately, it was a fun movie. I'm still willing to get into the ocean, and I slept dreamless through the night. It lived up to the 50 years of hype. Nice.
Well, that's not my story.
No.
I had nightmares for years.
No. Wow. Okay.
All right, James Gildersleeve, who is right here in the Sky Chat, he writes, the movie was pretty scary for me as a kid, but I did see the whole movie. What terrified me the most was Jaws at Universal Studios. I would not sit on the same side of the tram as the shark because he was loud and squirted water and wanted to eat me. As I got older, I appreciated Jaws more, and now I root for the shark. Yes, because the shark does not come late to movies. Go listen to things we want to share to understand that reference. Yay, Jaws. Go eat some people. Not me, though.
Nice. All right, so Kelly and Courtney kind of shared. Kelly together. So Kelly says, our uncle's brother played the iconic Dun Dun on the cello for the movie, and that's really my only connection to it. Could never watch it. So she has never watched it. But her uncle's brother played on the cello in oh my gosh, in the recording. That's amazing.
Why was this never brought up before, Kelly? First, Mike sits on the fact that he was born in Amityville, and now Kelly's uncle's brother played the dun 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 on the cello.
Wow.
Why are our friends hiding these things from us?
I do not know. But then Courtney, that's also her uncle's brother, played the dun dun on the cello. So she has that same connection. However, Courtney is going to the studio tour. I do enjoy the Jaws portion of the studio tour as long as I am not on the side where Bruce comes to say hello. He still makes me scream a little.
I always want to sit on that side. I want to see him up close and personal.
Yeah.
See those doll eyes of his.
I know, it's so cool. I love sitting on that side. All right, now Bryn continues. She says, even though I'm older than the Jaws movie, I didn't see it until I was an adult. My real relationship with Jaws started in the late 1970s on the Universal Studios tram tour.
My goodness.
My dad knew what was coming as we trundled into Amity, and he positioned me in the perfect spot to get the full force of animatronic shark terror. Absolute terror and fun, she says.
She's got a good dad.
Yeah, that is so fun. So many of you, that studio tour was your
Gateway
relationship.
to Jaws.
Yeah. Indeed.
Never knew that.
Yeah, that's fun. I feel like a lot of kids now, their gateway to like maybe Harry Potter is the Harry Potter lands now, the Wizarding World. Wow, that's cool.
Got to ask the kids when they talk about Harry Potter. It's like, what was your gateway?
Yeah, we really should. It's interesting because it's not just books anymore.
Or the movies.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up with Joey Pittman. Joey says, as long as I've been in this world, Jaws has always been around. From the movies, Universal Studios, and even the old video game. Oh, Mike talked about that. The original is a true masterpiece. As a kid, it was scary, but at the same time, very intriguing. Because of this film, I've always loved sharks.
Oh.
One of my bucket list items is getting in a shark cage. Joey,
what?
No.
What?
No, Joey.
No.
Courtney, talk some sense into Joey.
Yes.
In my opinion, Jaws made Spielberg one of the great directors at such a young age, at 26 years old.
That's crazy.
The failures of Bruce, the shark, would have stressed so many out and maybe forced to quit, but he took the challenge by the gills and delivered a highly suspenseful and beautiful film. The characters are some of cinema's best, and I don't even have to talk about how iconic the John Williams score is. Happy 50th anniversary to Jaws, one of the greatest movies ever made. Someday I'll get Courtney to watch it. Favorite quote, when the fishermen on the dock are told it's a great white, one fisherman says,
"A what?"
"A what?" If you know, you know. Thanks, Skywalkers, for weighing in. See, like I say, everyone's got a Jaws story.
Yeah, that was so great. It's so fun. And it's so interesting to see where your relationship with Jaws, came a relationship.
Yeah,
It's very cool. Well, that wraps up this episode 520 of
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We want to thank Mike Celestino for joining us today and all of you Skywalkers for sharing your Jaws stories. Now, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also find us on all socials at Skywalking Pod.
Now, do you have things that you want to share? Well, we do. Every Monday, or maybe sometimes Tuesday, but mainly Monday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we do a live YouTube show and on Facebook, which is called Things We Want to Share. That's where we share things that we've done in the past week, a movie review. We invite the Skywalkers to come on and share some collectibles they have. We share rants about people interrupting at movie theaters. We share lots of stuff. So join us every Monday, I would say, every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time for Things We Want to Share.
Now, are you interested in our books? Autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Parts 1 and 2, and Skywalking Through My Fandom, the interactive notebook, are available now from skywalkingthrough.neverland.com/book. And also, Skywalkers, would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland? You can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. Now, the Skywalking Force has their own dedicated podcast feed that contains early access to many episodes and bonus content like an entire John Williams Hollywood Bowl concert. Also, Skywalking Force group discussions on the latest Disney Plus movies and TV shows. And this bonus content begins at only $5 a month. So head to skywalkingforce.com and have a look at the options. And we want to give a huge shout out and thank you to those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force.
Now, we also want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park, a Disney cruise, or to a Universal Studios theme park? We can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge. So check them out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you, and then do this. Nom 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 nom.
Donna.
Nom 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 nom.
Donna.
Cookie.
Donna.
Cookie.
Yeah.
Cookie Jaws. Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network. Where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
Star Wars Ologies, which just released a show, Anti-Fascism in Star Wars.
Nice. The Max Effects Podcast,
The Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and
Today in Star Wars History. Glenn comes in with a Skynet. Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember,
nom 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 nom
Donna, 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 and
Neverland on Alderaan.
After 50 years, Jaws is still considered one of the best films of all time. This month, the Jaws, played by Richard Dreyfuss. And played by Richard Dreyfuss?
Richard Dreyfuss.
Okay, I've been saying that wrong all my life.
We know what happened from there.
Yeah.
Changed my whole life. Now,
how do you feel about Star Wars, Richard?
I like to watch it every now and then. I wish they would make more, though. Yeah, the music, I know I'm going to get backhanded for this, but I always thought that little the sea shanty that just never really fit. It just never really fit this mood and this scene. Listening to it now, it sounds like something that he pulled from a Harry Potter soundtrack and said, let's put it right over here and see if anyone notices.
You know, Harry Potter came much later, right?
Wait, what?
I have a little.
No, that's what I say. Now, when we're just watching it, it sounds right. very, very much like Harry Potter.
Or Harry Potter sounds like it.
Yes, but yeah, listening to it again, you hear the little Harry Potter nod. But yes, I know this came up way before, but it just doesn't. It's too light and lilty for the scene. So play that and Harry Potter at the same time. See if they both sync up. It's like playing Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd and Wizard of Oz.
That'd be funny.
Then there was an alligator movie about a giant alligator. And this was really scary because with sharks, they are real existing animals, and so are alligators. And I used to go down to see my father in Florida every summer. And what do you see everywhere in Florida? Alligators. And I was deathly afraid to go anywhere outside because of these giant alligators.
Plus, it was hot.
Well, that too. That scared me even more. It's like I'll take an alligator, even a giant mega gator, but I can't take this heat and humidity.
That's funny. Okay, so Richard, I need.
Glenn Stein is back with his hey hey. What?
Aw, I need your hey hey clappy claps. Good. Okay, here we go.
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.